善良的邪恶 Benevolent Evil. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qinyu. Once while watching Animal World on TV, I came across a scene. A tall tree with a bird's nest, a big bird cruelly driving away a young bird seemingly not fully feathered from the nest. The young bird, panicked, tried to hide, squeezing back into the nest. The bird mother, seemingly lacking any sympathy for her daughter, flapped her wings, squawked, not letting it take a step back, eventually forcing the young bird to fly away from the tree nest and clumsily spread its wings for the first time. The fledgling bird landed clumsily on the grass, and the big bird promptly flew to a branch not far from it, preening its feathers. But observing the newly liberated young bird, chirping and hopping joyfully on the ground, it seemed to say, "Mom, look, I can fly. I can hop on the ground. Life outside is so much freer and comfortable than in the nest. Look, Mom, I can even catch insects. Oh, the outside world is wonderful." At first glance, the mother bird's act of driving away her offspring seemed evil. Yet, upon seeing the joyful scene of the young bird on the ground, I immediately recognized that the mother bird's seemingly evil actions were, in fact, a form of benevolent evil. Inspired by the big bird, I employed a kind of benevolent evil in raising my own child. Starting at 13, my child took charge of the family's dinner, learned to drive at 14, and began driving to school at 16. I never did tasks he could manage himself. At 16, he competed for the position of the student company's general manager and succeeded. Regarding university, I said he could choose any university in the USA, UK, Australia, or South Africa, except elite schools like Harvard or MIT due to unaffordable tuition fees. Eventually, he researched online, contacted universities, and chose a top-ranked university within the global top 100. At 18, he left home, the nest, went to the US and UK embassies to apply for his visa himself, bought a plane ticket, registered in the USA, found accommodation, opened a bank account, and everything went smoothly. Finally, like the big bird, I drove my child out of the nest. Consequently, just like the young bird landing on the grass, he discovered a broader world and a space of freedom beyond the nest. His academic performance remained outstanding, and he received care and support from various quarters. People who know us envy our obedient and sensible child, but little do they know that I employed an evil educational method. Whether educating children, managing employees, or governing countries, leading people should adopt benevolent evil. Pure kindness ultimately harms oneself and others. Only benevolent evil can save both. To those who are ignorant, the most effective approach is to employ a strategy of benevolent evil, as they are unresponsive to reason and unmoved even in life-threatening situations. Resorting to a fascist dictatorship is inhumane, leaving us with no option but to employ evil methods. To those who damage nature, those who cause trouble without reason, those who lazily parasitize, and those who are fanatics, the most effective way to rescue them is through a form of benevolent evil. If we spend too much time waiting for them to understand it, it is too late and humanity will be on the brink of catastrophe. Children who cannot swim insist on bathing in the river. Those unfamiliar with electricity want to touch high-voltage wires. Those lacking faith insist on freedom. And those unfamiliar with Chinese culture and the human spiritual world insist on advocating private ownership. Is it wise for them to follow their own whims without considering the consequences not only for themselves, but also for the future of others and the entire nation? Humanity faces an immense potential disaster. We are standing at the edge of a precipice. It's time to wake up. 98% of people are currently in the nest. Don't you want to fly freely like the young bird? All authoritarian systems are nests. Can there be prospects for those crowded and fussing within these nests for an extended period? All religions are nests. Can there be prospects for those dreaming with closed eyes within these nests for an extended period? Like the big bird, Life Genuine aims to encourage the young birds to leave the nest. Only by flying out of the nest can you understand the benevolent evil of Life Genuine. Soar into the world, and it becomes yours. Remain behind, and it leads to a dead end. 时来运转. Time brings changes in fortune. 写评. February 7th, 2007. Translation edited by Chinyu. All things await their opportune moment to act. When it arrives, greenery flourishes, insects take flight, solid ice melts, thunder is born. When the time has not come, no storms brew, flowers lack buds, gold appears as iron, and even geniuses seem mediocre. All things await their moment to act. When it arrives, injustices are revealed, secrets come to light. The scenery changes from fortune to misfortune. When it's not time, the oxen bully the tigers, cats fear mice, diligent studies go unnoticed, exceptional talents seem worthless. Time, geographical advantage, support of people, time takes precedence. Even with remarkable talent and ambitions spanning the universe, without favorable timing, one can only sip the northwest wind. Even with a heart of passion, without opportune timing, one's efforts find no outlet. Time brings changes in fortune. Without opportune timing, fortunes do not change. Even with full seeds, they'll lie dormant underground. Even with brilliant minds, they'll reside in obscure places. Even with perfect plans, they'll gather dust. Even with resounding voices, they'll only shout in vain. At the right moment, in the turning of fortunes, the ugly duckling may become a white swan. A cowherd leads 1,000,000 valiant soldiers. A golden phoenix emerges from a mountain nest, and barren lands transform into lucrative markets. Those who bowed their heads lift them high, while those who once held their heads high bow their heads. For some, wealth flows in abundantly, and their career paths are clear. For others, they stumble and face poverty and illness. The heavens have their fortune, nations have theirs, individuals too. If the heavens' fortune falters, so does a nation's, and thus an individual's. If a nation's fortune wanes, it's hard for an individual's fortune to turn. Grass and trees know their seasons. In spring, they thrive. Wise individuals discern opportune moments and create grand achievements in due time. Failing to act when necessary leads to missed opportunities and bad luck. Inappropriately, forcefully, or foolishly acting when one should not turn good fortune into misfortune. Sprouting in winter leads to inevitable demise. Budding in autumn leads to fruitlessness. Sprouting in spring is opportune. Time is fortune. When time brings change, it might be favorable or adverse, depending on one's perception. Time, ever-changing, constantly seeks auspicious winds and timely rains, seeking prosperity for the nation, peace for the people, and harmony throughout the world. With everyone's well-being, there comes good fortune. In the face of widespread misery, personal good fortune is elusive. Fortune is transformative. Apparent good fortune may be substantial misfortune, and apparent misfortune may be substantial good fortune. If heaven intends to grant people good fortune, it might first befall them with misfortune. If heaven intends to bring misfortune to people, it might bestow apparent good fortune first. Whether it is calamity or fortune, it all depends on one's own perspective. 3 elements constitute fortune: life structure, genes, gestation period, and timing. Life structure determines the broad trajectory of fortune. An egg can only hatch into a chick, not into an eagle. A dragon begets a dragon. A phoenix begets a phoenix. A mouse's offspring dig holes. We cannot grow into corn. Ordinary people cannot become geniuses. Not all cowherds can command 1,000,000 soldiers. Not all music students become Bach, Beethoven, or Mozart. Not all compassionate individuals become Jesus, Buddha, or Muhammad. Not all college dropouts become Bill Gates. The transformation of fortune requires a gestation period. 10 months pregnancy leads to 1 day of childbirth. Peach trees take 3 years, apricots take 4, and walnut trees need 18 years to bear fruits. Without or insufficient gestation, even with opportune timing, fortune is hard to transform. Inspiration favors the contemplative, opportunities embrace the prepared mind, and miracles do not happen on the desert of the soul. Those who eagerly await good fortune must accumulate the basic materials in that direction. Waiting aimlessly will not bring good fortune. All preparations ready, just waiting for the east wind. Only with complete preparation can one utilize the east wind. Without readiness, even with the wind blowing, the fire cannot burn at Chibi. Similarly, without the wind rising, all prior preparations are meaningless. Therefore, good fortune also depends on timing. The 5th, 9th, 11th, 14th, 16th, 17th, 34th, 53rd, and 56th hexagrams of the Book of Changes primarily discuss cultivating and awaiting the opportune moment, awaiting changes in fortune. The cart travels on the road. The horse runs on the track. People walk on paths. Immortals tread immortal paths. Without changing the trajectory of life, a dog remains a dog, and commoners remain commoners. Even when the time comes, it only smooths the trajectory but does not change it. It means that people cannot become immortals. To transition from the trajectory of a human life to that of an immortal, one needs to foster the structure of an immortal life, then step into the immortal path at the opportune moment. Times are changing. Take the opportune moment. The era of networking, combined with the consciousness of the new age, acts as a catalyst for transforming one's life fortune. Today, the information we receive in a day surpasses that of an entire year in the past. Old systems are gradually disintegrating, even collapsing. The times create heroes, and the consciousness of the new age shapes higher dimensional lives. When the time comes, seize the opportunity, align with the international system. Embrace the lifestyle of the immortals, and in doing so, great fortune awaits. 魔鬼的钓饵 Satan's bait. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qinyu. A friend once shared the art of fishing with me, mentioning the method of using pig feed, vitamins, essential balm, and eggs as bait to lure fish to the hook. The revelation was heart-stopping. Poor fish. How would they know that this tantalizing aroma was nothing but pig feed? How could they comprehend that this bait, disguised as something appealing, spells disaster once consumed? To these fish, the fisherman is the devil. For the devil, these fish are utterly naive. A few simple tricks and they're hooked. In the water, fish only see the fragrant food, oblivious to the devil on the shore. The fish's devil is humans. Then, who is the devil for humans? The mantis hunts the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. The oriole hunts the mantis, unaware of the cobra behind. The cobra hunts the oriole, unaware of the eagle behind. The eagle hunts the cobra, humans behind. Humans hunt the eagle, the devil behind. The devil hunts humans, and behind the devil is the greatest creator. All seek immediate gain, ignoring what comes after. Humans fish, and the devil fishes humans. Humans employ all sorts of tricks to lure the fish. The devil uses all sorts of tricks to hook humans. Adding vitamins, essential balm, and eggs to pig feed lures fish to the hook, just as the devil casts money, power, and lust into the human world, luring humans to the hook. The fish do not know it's a human trap. Humans do not know it's the devil's scheme. The fish cannot see the person behind the trap. Humans cannot see the devil behind the scheme. Ah, fish. Ah, humans. Beware. 生命是这样腐烂发臭的. Life rots and stinks like this. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qinyu. Today, July 14th, 2004, while preparing dinner for my beloved and child, I was frying eggplant and thought of adding some garlic. I fetched a plastic bag containing stored garlic from the storage, opened the bag, and picked a clove. To my surprise, the garlic was darkened, and upon breaking it open, it was rotten. Emptied out all the cloves. Not a single one was spared. It's odd. Normally, garlic does not rot for several months. So why did this bag, purchased just a month ago, turn rotten and stinky? Suddenly, I recalled an incident during a summer business trip within the country. After washing my face with a towel in the morning, I absent-mindedly placed the damp towel inside a plastic bag. I forgot to remove it that day, and the next day when I retrieved it to wash my face again, a gentle twist broke it into two sections. The reason lay in the fact that the moist towel, in the sweltering heat, confined within the plastic bag without contact with external air, turned stale. The gases of staleness within the plastic bag caused the towel to decay, reducing its strength and elasticity, thus making it easily breakable. Yes, the garlic's rot and stink in the plastic bag resulted from its lack of contact with external air. Ordinarily, garlic is placed in a basket, allowing air circulation, hence it remains unchanged for months. It seems that everything material, when not allowed to circulate with external air, inevitably rots and stinks. If material things are like this, then what about non-material things? If a family only allows internal marriages without intermingling with other families, after several generations, this family will inevitably perish. A nation that does not interact with other nations, confined within a singular cultural circle, will eventually decay. A country that isolates itself, refraining from interactions with other nations, will surely decline. Now, what about an individual? If they do not learn from others, avoid communication, isolate themselves, and keep their mental windows closed, over time, they will inevitably become rigid, stubborn, experience ideological stagnation, leading to decay, stagnation, and eventually death. An individual, a family, a nation, a country, such is the case. What about religious groups? Historically, some disappearing religions have also attributed their decline to self-righteousness and arrogance. It's foreseeable that present religions like Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, etc., if they hold on to an attitude of superiority, refusing to engage in mutual exchange, cutting themselves off contact with the external air, will inevitably rot and stink as well. The question now is, how can human life prevent rot and stench? The human being is composed of two parts, a material body and a spiritual soul. If the material body does not engage in exchange with the external elements such as air, water, and energy, it will inevitably decay and emit an unpleasant odor, ultimately leading to death. Similarly, if the spiritual soul does not connect with the divine source of the universe, the greatest creator, the soul will also decay and emit an unpleasant odor, resulting in death. A more intriguing question is, if life on Earth chooses to seal itself off and refuses to engage in spiritual communication and contact with life forms beyond Earth, will it also rot, stink, and eventually die? 有眼无珠与买椟还珠. Seeing without recognizing and the folly of buying the casket and returning the jewel. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Everyone desires to possess treasures, be it rare diamonds or exquisite jade, be it wise mentors and supportive friends, or virtuous and beautiful women. It's the intrinsic value that triggers people's longing and pursuit. Among all treasures, the most valuable is the truth that allows life to extend towards higher-level space, the spirit of the greatest creator and the pure and kind hearts of humanity. Treasures are everywhere, appearing and hiding at every turn. Why can't we see or find them? It's because we are blind to the jewel. In 1995, our family hired a lady for the first time. This lady, named Rebecca, learned to cook Chinese food in just 3 days. After she tidied up the house, it was sparkling clean, spotless, well organized and neat. Every day, after my beloved and I returned home from work and the kid came back from school, she stood at the door to welcome us, showing concern and casually taking the kid's school bag and our purchases. It felt like we were reuniting with long-lost relatives. Inside the dining room, a table of not-so-sumptuous yet delectable dishes always awaited us. The day's fatigue dissipated in this warm and harmonious atmosphere. At that time, my residence had no flowers or plants outside. However, since Rebecca arrived, she managed to bring in some exotic plants and flowers. 2 months later, flowers blossomed in front and behind the house, creating a splendid scene. Unfortunately, due to our move, we had to let her go after 6 months. More foolishly, we lost the note with her address. A rare and precious jewel was thus lost. Every time we think of Rebecca, my beloved and I deeply sigh, regretting immensely. Such a wonderful woman. Where else could we find her? I am someone who is blind to the jewel. The gem is right in front of us, but we do not cherish it. Once it's gone from us, it's hard to trace it again. One wrong step causes everlasting regret. Discarding the jewel hurts the heart the most. Who should be blamed when blind to the jewel? Blame no one but your own blindness. Blindness to the jewel not only hinders its discovery, but also ensures its eventual loss even if acquired. The story of buying the casket and returning the jewel is due to the people of Zhang State only seeing the gorgeously decorated wooden box but not recognizing the gem inside, leading to a lamentable event spanning ages. The ancients had their foolishness, just as modern individuals can be ignorant. Often encountering bookworms, their memory may be strong, their reasoning abilities not weak. They can eloquently expound on principles, citing references after references. Yet, besides regurgitating some worn-out cliches, there's not a glimmer of wisdom in their discourse. It's not problematic if they lack their own thoughts. However, they insist on using history to shackle and restrict the development of reality, speaking only in traditions and orthodoxy. It's akin to the scholars and Pharisees of Jesus' time. Although Jesus preached the truth, they spouted dogmas, pretending to uphold orthodoxy, vehemently hindering the spread of truth. These individuals are like the people of Zhang State, interested not in the gem within the box, but in the gorgeously adorned wooden box containing the gem. The truly invaluable gem lies within people's hearts. If we do not protect the gem in our hearts, but blindly pursue the externally decorated wooden box, are we not like the people of Zhang State buying the casket and returning the jewel? 回应天启，走出迷途. Responding to the revelation, finding the way out. Xiefeng. August 16, 2005. Translation edited by Qinyu. A lightning bolt streaks across the expansive sky, accompanied by distant rolling thunder, foretelling an impending storm. On September 11th, the towering and sturdy World Trade Center collapsed abruptly, trapping people inside. If someone had warned those inside the building of its imminent collapse and urged them to evacuate, would they have heeded the advice? Nonsense. How could such a solid world-class building collapse? They might have replied in disbelief. Humans, how much do you understand the mysteries of the universe? How much do you comprehend? Why don't you respond to the revelations? Someone explicitly tells you that he is a messenger of the greatest creator. Here too. Harvest the crops, yet you mock, ridicule, and scorn him. Even when, in humility, he kneels before you as a commoner, begging for your response to the revelations, you continue to mock, ridicule, and scorn him. What kind of person do you need to save you? The immense love of the greatest creator for humanity, the care from God Jesus Christ and Buddha Shakyamuni for humanity, have been clearly and evidently revealed to you. Do you desire wealth or life? Life or your status, wealth and reputation? Which is more important? There was a notorious pirate who amassed countless treasures. One day, he was caught. In court, he arrogantly told the judge, I have countless treasures. I'm willing to give up one-third of my wealth to buy my freedom. The judge replied, You've committed robbery and murder. Your wealth cannot buy your freedom. Judge, I'm willing to give up all my treasures to save my life. You should know, my wealth is enough for the whole nation to spend for 3 years. People die for wealth. Birds perish for food. Don't people love wealth? The pirate began pleading. The judge resolutely replied, Debts must be repaid, and life must pay for murder. Your wealth wasn't rightfully earned. It was plundered. The law is not negotiable. I declare that tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon, you will be hanged. The pirate, with tears of regret, lamented, Had I known that wealth couldn't spare my life, why did I strive so ardently to amass it? Human laws are not child's play. They cannot be bargained with, let alone the laws of the greatest creator. Don't be stubborn, do not falter, do not retreat midway, do not be captured by demons. Ignite the divine lamp within your heart, seize the moment. Transcend the shackles of life and death, reclaim your true nature, discard conventional thinking, advance at superluminal speeds, abandon all possessions, firmly believe in the journey of life. Don't look around, do not heed others' words, do not run with the crowd, do not feel lonely and forsaken. The key to opening the gates of heaven lies in your hands. You need only ponder quietly, listen to the guidance of your inner spirit. Don't wait for torrential rains to build an ark. Do not wait for the Titanic to hit an iceberg to search for life jackets. Do not wait to see a bombing plane before rushing out of the building. Once everything becomes apparent, it's too late. Your eastern land, due to its vastness, sparse population, and abundant resources, has fallen into a state of excessive greed, rampant killing, widespread falsehoods, and deceitfulness. Many are unfaithful, unfilial, unkind, and unjust. Now, I bring the Tripitaka, capable of transcending life and death, to save all beings. Your eastern land, ignoring the Tripitaka Buddha scriptures, your sky is low, your earth thin, your resources scant, and your population dense. You do not believe in gods, Buddhas, despise laws and heaven. Yet you still indulge in excessive greed, rampant killing, widespread falsehoods, and deceitfulness. Many are unfaithful, unfilial, unkind, and unjust. Your eastern land disregards Buddhas and the greatest creators, unaware of how to be human. Ears but deaf, hearts but void, as fragile as paper, as lofty as the sky, spirits desolate, hearts like stones, still stubbornly refusing to heed teachings, superficially humble, but inwardly arrogant. I now call again, hoping for a response to the revelations, a return from the misguided path. If delayed or procrastinated, divine punishment will follow. The vast heavens perceive your hearts. The myriad gods know your names. The sun, moon, and cosmic laws observe your deeds. In the vast expanse of existence, life takes precedence. In the limitless desert, retracing steps leads to the oasis. Every millennium is but a fleeting moment. The righteous path is the only way. Respond to the revelations and find your way out of the maze. 别人不信，我信. Others may doubt, I believe. 写评. Translation edited by Chinyu. A friend from Tianjin visited my office the day before yesterday and inquired about matters related to space and time. I asked him why he was interested in such questions. He said, Not long ago, I had a dream. My grandfather appeared and told me that after using the toilet, he suddenly fainted before standing up, unable to get up. He said he was leaving and urged us to live well while he waited. The next day, my father called from China, saying my grandfather had passed away. He told me my grandfather had collapsed and passed away while using the toilet. I found it quite strange. How could my dream about my grandfather match the actual events? What's going on with time and space? I asked him if he had watched the Life Genuine section on Chinese soul, and he mentioned that he had seen some of it. However, due to the extensive content, he hadn't watched it all. I responded, "Your grandfather left this physical space and entered another dimension of life. Due to his concern for you, he conveyed his inner thoughts to you through a dream before departing from this space. This is entirely normal. Your elevated spiritual sensitivity allowed you to connect with your grandfather's thoughts. There's nothing mysterious about it." Taking the opportunity, I asked, "Do you believe in the immortality of the soul and in the existence of other dimensions of life apart from our current space?" He replied, "While others may doubt, I believe." Belief, such a mysterious and profound word. Peter, a disciple of Jesus, walked on water because of belief, but almost drowned when he saw the wind and waves and lost belief. Those with belief are blessed. Those without belief are miserable. Those with belief have roots. Those without belief are like floating duckweeds. Those with belief know how to navigate life. Those without belief randomly fly like headless flies. Those with belief are humble. Those without belief are arrogant. Those with belief have a bright future. Those without belief have a bleak one. What to believe in? Believe in facts. Believe in what you see, hear, and experience. Whom to believe in? Believe in Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Laozi, and the sages. What to believe in? Believe in the negative universe information sensed by your spiritual perception. Whom to believe in? Believe in the greatest creator. Many people doubt everything, do not believe in anything, lack faith in themselves, and have no confidence. Some start with belief, but, swayed by phenomena and others' opinions, lose faith even in facts. They cannot sustain their faith, vacillating between belief and doubt until they believe in nothing. Some seem to believe but harbor doubts, so when confronted with storms, they lose their foothold and are devoured by demons. Some people's faith is mere lip service, steering with the wind, changing with their immediate self-interest. In reality, their hearts lack genuine belief. Today, they believe when it's advantageous, and tomorrow, they do not when it's not. How can one live without faith? What is the purpose of such a life? Where is it headed? Job in the Bible is an exemplar of faith. Apostle Paul is an exemplar of faith, and several bodhisattvas in Buddhism have also set examples of faith for us. Many believers in Islam are also exemplars of faith. Without faith, one cannot stand firm. I said to my friend, "Your dream aligning with reality can be considered a revelation. While the world may harbor doubts, you cannot afford to. Doubting would betray your grandfather's wishes and the revelation." In the end, my friend reiterated, "While others may harbor doubts, I remain steadfast in my belief." Friend, do you also believe? 于无声处响惊雷. Shocking thunderclap in silence. Xiefeng. August 16, 2005. Translation edited by Qin Yu. That was a day on the Christmas of the previous year. I was driving a van, transporting 8 employees from my store to a fast food restaurant and bar I owned, about 10 kilometers away, to celebrate Christmas. Just as we pulled up to the entrance of the bar, we heard a clack sound, and the left front wheel dropped, tilting the vehicle to the left. Quickly checking, I discovered the axle supporting the left wheel had completely snapped. After a week, I had the car towed to Sadie Motor for repairs. The shop owner, holding the fractured axle, asked me, "Why didn't the car overturn?" I replied, "The axle broke only as the car came to a stop. That's why it didn't overturn." That British gentleman sighed, saying, "A miracle, the greatest creator's protection. In such a situation, the car should have flipped, causing injuries. How did it break only after the car stopped?" He then pointed at the fracture and explained, "This axle began breaking at least half a year ago. It didn't snap suddenly but deteriorated bit by bit. Its complete fracture was inevitable. It should have happened during driving. You're very lucky. Initially, I didn't care for the analysis, but after hearing his explanation, I felt terrified. I usually drive fast. If the axle had snapped during high-speed driving, not only would everyone in the car have been in danger, but other vehicles around might also have faced disaster. That was close. The axle had been gradually breaking for months, yet I remained oblivious. Thunder lurked in silence. Disasters hid within calm waters. Unseen perils surfaced unnoticed amid the excitement and joy. How can one prevent such occurrences? Since then, I have started contemplating the latent crises within nature. Earthquakes, typhoons, volcanic eruptions, tornadoes, plagues, wars, floods, landslides, droughts, pestilence, sandstorms, accidents, plane crashes, collapsed walls, dam breaches, land subsidence, strokes, sudden power outages, water stoppages, social unrest, riots, and other unforeseen calamities all exhibit early signs of axle fractures. People typically care about results or consequences, rarely focusing on the gradual axle deterioration leading up to them. People often live in regret, never considering early checks and preventive measures. Furthermore, since axle fractures happen gradually and invisibly, they are easily overlooked. Even if someone predicts a disaster in advance, not many believe it. This guy's exaggerating, talking nonsense, or has ulterior motives. What's the solution? Think about Noah building his ark on the mountaintop. How many ridiculed and mocked him? Currently, life genuine has faced and will continue to face ridicule, mockery, and cold indifference from many. Among all these axle fractures, my focus is on the fate and future of humanity. It seems that the greatest creator, God Jesus, and Buddha Shakyamuni have particularly favored me, granting me the key to unlock the treasury of wisdom and authority to establish life genuine, bestowing upon me the honor of harvesting crops. People, I know you will not easily believe me. In Jesus' era, how many truly believed in Jesus? How many truly believed in Buddha Shakyamuni? How many truly understood Muhammad and Laozi? Many talk about the greatest creator, Allah, the ancestor of Buddha, Emperor Chakra, the heavens, or the divine, but how many genuinely follow them? Many speak of Tao manifests itself in nature. What is nature? Do you understand? Some claim that Xiefeng is creating the greatest creator, that he aspires to be its spokesperson. Oh, ignorant ones, can the greatest creator be created? Is Xiefeng's, the chapter of the greatest creator, creating the greatest creator? Who in human history has explained the greatest creator as comprehensively as the chapter of the greatest creator? Thunder and silence exists. If you don't believe it, just wait and see. But I'll caution everyone in advance. Do not come running later, shouting, "Greatest Creator, now I believe," after the axle breaks. By then, it'll be too late, and no one can save you. 上帝对人类的审判随时随地进行。The greatest Creator's judgment of humanity occurs at all times and in all places. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin. All major religions mention Judgment Day, or the judgment by the King of Hell in the Netherworld. However, after exploring the 36-dimensional spaces, I haven't discovered a designated place for judgment. The greatest creator has never assigned a fixed date for a collective or individual judgment of humanity. So, how did this notion of a judgment day originate? One reason could be a mistaken understanding of divine teachings. Those who recorded the words of gods or Buddhas might have misinterpreted the meanings or added their own cleverness and wisdom when translating the divine words. The other reason is that people mainly focus on outcomes, neglecting the processes that lead to them. People see death as life's conclusion, ignoring the process itself. Consequently, they believe that death marks life's end, and after death, souls face a final judgment. Such beliefs are erroneous. The concept of Judgment Day blasphemes the greatest creator, confuses humanity, and exacerbates life's hardships and misfortunes. It's a kind of magical power, a spell, a barrier and hindrance placed within human consciousness. The greatest creator's judgment and selection of humanity, both collectively and individually, occur anytime, anywhere. There is not a final judgment. It's immediate, executed by Tao rather than by gods, Buddhas, or any celestial beings. How does Tao judge people? Up to this point, I've outlined in other articles what Tao is. In the Bible, it says, Tao is the greatest creator. However, there's a meaning not yet revealed. The greatest creator is not Tao. Tao is the greatest creator. The greatest creator is not Tao. How to understand this? Mao Zedong thought is Mao Zedong, but Mao Zedong is not Mao Zedong thought. Wang Mazi's consciousness is Wang Mazi, but Wang Mazi is not consciousness. China's laws represent China, but China is not its laws. Tao manifests itself in nature, means Tao follows the will of the greatest creator. The will of the greatest creator corresponds to the spirit of the greatest creator. Tao and the spirit of the greatest creator are synonymous. Although the meaning of Tao is vast and profound, in this context, Tao is specifically defined as the spiritual law that upholds the orderly functioning of the universe and the cycle of life. Although the Diamond Sutra may not explicitly expound on the concept of Tao, those of superior wisdom who comprehend the sutra would undoubtedly understand that what Shakyamuni Buddha repeatedly elucidates is essentially Tao. All phenomena are illusory. The Dharma cannot be grasped, expressed, nor is it truly Dharma or non-Dharma. What is referred to as the Buddha's Dharma is, in reality, not the Buddha's Dharma. The Dharma is neither real nor unreal. The Dharma is a quality, without high or low. Regarding the Dharma, there is no notion of extinction. That which is referred to as the appearance of the Dharma is, in fact, not the appearance of the Dharma. This is called the appearance of the Dharma. All sages are differentiated by the Dharma of non-attachment. If we purely understand Tao as the greatest creator's law, it might lead us to liken the greatest creator's law to the country's laws. It's easy to regard the greatest creator's law as dead dogma. The laws of the greatest creator, Tao, cannot be fully explained in words. Why? Because the greatest creator's law is spiritual, alive. Laozi and Buddha earnestly imparted to us this layer of meaning regarding Tao. Now we understand. Tao is the spiritual law that sustains the orderly operation of the universe and the cycle of life. So, let's see how Tao judges humanity, both collectively and individually, at any time, in any place. When Chinese people cook, it's inevitable that frying and cooking will lead to the accumulation of grease around the kitchen walls and ceilings. We have to ask whether this layer of grease formed all at once or gradually built up with each instance of frying and cooking. Look inside a smoker's teeth. They turn dark due to smoking. When did this discoloration occur? Not after one cigarette, right? It's the accumulation of repeated smoking. When someone suffers a sudden heart attack or stroke, is it caused by a single instance of low vitality or inadequate blood supply, or an immediate surge of heart fire? Unlikely. Was the sudden earthquake in Tangshan the result of a single tectonic shift? Does the emergence of a dust storm result merely from pulling out a few blades of grass or cutting down a few trees? When someone is abruptly elevated to a central government position, is it purely coincidental? When someone unexpectedly gets a chance to study abroad, is it solely an opportunity? When someone dies in a car accident, is it just misfortune? Aren't there accumulations of various factors behind these events? 10 years to nurture trees, 100 years to cultivate individuals, gathering streams to form rivers, accumulating grievances to lead to disasters. If one consumes 9 steamed buns, does it mean only the ninth bun satisfies hunger, while the preceding 8 are wasted? Is poverty the fault of the heavens? Does it not have its own causes and consequences? Is it unfairness of the greatest creator? When a billionaire is suddenly assassinated, does it lack causes and consequences? Is it the injustice of the heavens? Without the accumulation of quantity, there can be no qualitative transformation. Without personal effort and dedication, there can be no happy life. Without profound contemplation, wisdom is unattainable. Without the manifestation of love, the Spirit will not descend. Without spiritual living, one can never enter the higher realms of life. Enumerating the above simple truths, I want to illustrate that the judgment of Tao on humanity, punishment, and reward is happening at all times and everywhere. When thirsty, drink some water to solve the problem immediately. When in need to urinate, release it promptly to make the body comfortable right away. In an instant, there is eternity. Understanding that the judgment of Tao, reward, and punishment is immediate, accurate, impartial, and intangible, a life of wisdom should be lived like this. Regardless of the circumstances, rich or poor, influential or powerless, renowned or scorned by others, the key is to pay attention to one's next action. Avoid punishments from Tao and strive to receive rewards. Specifically, first, believe in the greatest creator and hold gratitude in your heart. Second, listen to the teachings of gods and Buddhas. Do not dismiss them as superstition. The teachings of gods and Buddhas are treasures of wisdom and the guidebook of life, absolutely devoid of any malice. When tempted to engage in corruption, remember that Tao is present. Tao wields a knife in one hand and holds the gem of life in the other. If you engage in corruption, the knife will be at your throat. If you resist corruption, Tao will embed the gem of life in the non-material structure of your life. Likewise, when you have trash in your hands, do you casually throw it on the street, or do you take a few extra steps to put it in the trash bin? When seeking revenge, do you continue to retaliate and harm others, or do you forgive and show mercy? When encountering a prostitute, do you engage in promiscuity, or do you go home to your spouse? When presented with a bargain, do you scheme to take advantage, or do you live an honest life? At the entrance of a casino, do you go in and gamble, or do you turn and leave? When a brother or sister is in trouble, do you do your best to help, or do you abandon them? When faced with conflicting interests, do you compete, or do you yield? When you see the nation on the verge of collapse, do you actively strive to turn the tide, or do you act opportunistically and add fuel to the fire? Sow thorns, and they will obstruct your path. Plant willows, and you will not taste apples. Reap what you sow, gourds from gourd seeds, beans from bean seeds. Divine punishments, though slow, are always sure. With big meshes, yet letting nothing slip through the law of cause and effect is precise to the smallest detail. Human management often leads to numerous mistakes due to insufficient wisdom and spiritual flaws, whereas the operation of Tao never errs. The greatest reward by following Tao is the evolution of your life's non-material structure towards a higher level of life. Understanding this principle, even if someone were to offer us all the treasures in the world, we would remain unmoved. Ascending to this level of life allows one to act effortlessly and tread the path of life smoothly. Tao is judging us at all times and in all places. Let us follow Tao. 花香蝶自来，心境仙人